Hey guys, so today's video is going to be a rant. I'm going to tell you guys about the battle that I am currently in with Six Flags. I'm going to try to make this video not too long because it is kind of a long story. There's a lot to it. It's the summertime, and in the summertime I like to plan different adventures for us. Literally every weekend in the summertime I have something planned. We are going away, we're doing something fun. I literally have something planned every weekend. So last weekend, the weekend of July 25th, we went to Six Flags New England in Agawam, Massachusetts. It is a couple of hours from us, so it was kind of a long drive. We went on Saturday. We got a hotel room to stay Saturday night because of the fact that it is kind of far from us and we didn't want to drive home after a long day at the park. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is the cost to go to Six Flags New England. So we paid $150 for admission for the three of us. Obviously, we didn't bring our 4-month-old. She's a little too young. It was $25 to park, which is insane. And then we spent roughly another $75 on food and drinks. We were there for a total of 6 hours and we were able to go on 3 rides. 3 rides in 6 hours. And that's because the wait to get onto each ride was either an hour and a half, 2 hours. Also, it took us almost 45 minutes to actually get into the park because the line was that long. Everything was just so unorganized. There was no like correct line formations. People were cutting lines. It was madness. So my son's favorite ride there is the Batman ride. I don't like that ride at all, so my son and boyfriend went on the ride. That ride, you can get your picture taken, and while I was waiting for them, I was hanging out by that area looking at, you know, the different screens, seeing people's pictures, and I saw my boyfriend and my son's picture, and I noticed the look on my boyfriend's face, and it was off. He looked like he was pissed off and scared at the same time. It was just a weird look on his face. So I was like, what's going on? So when they got off the ride, my son comes running up and he's like, Mama, he lost his phone. And I'm like, what? So while they were on the ride, while they were going up the first hill, my boyfriend's phone slipped out of his pocket and fell behind him. He tried to get it. I guess the guy behind him was like directing him where to go. He's like, oh, just a little bit to the left, a little bit to the right. But he didn't end up getting it and it ended up falling out. Yes, Six Flags does warn you, don't bring valuables on a ride, blah, blah, blah. We know he wasn't supposed to bring his phone on the ride, but he did. Don't deny that he broke a rule. I wasn't gonna hold his cell phone because he was in line giving me updates, telling me how much longer it was, and it just wasn't feasible for me to be holding his phone. When my boyfriend got off the ride, he talked to the ride supervisor and told him what happened, and he said that they won't be able to do anything until after the park closes. He said when the park closes, they have a bunch of people that go through the rides and they pick up things that people have lost. So he instructed us to go to Lost and Found and file an incident report. Once they found it, they would get a hold of us and we'd be able to get it back. So we did that. We went to Lost and Found, and all you had to do was go on their website and fill out this incident report, you know, describe what happened, describe what the item was you lost, blah, blah, blah. I gave him my contact information. We went back to the hotel that night and we decided, hey, why don't we use Find My iPhone to see where this phone exactly is located? So we did that and it showed it sure as shit right on the Batman ride. Like going up the first hill, it looked like it was just right there. I'm gonna show a picture of what this first hill looks like just so you guys can get a visual. The next morning we did Find My iPhone again and it showed the phone in the same exact spot. We were pissed. So I called Six Flags right at 10 o'clock when they opened and I talked to a girl. Guys, they have like teenagers and really young people as supervisors there. It's like, how can you be a supervisor if you have no customer service experience and you talk like a child, you treat people horribly? That's beside the point. So I talked to her and I told her the situation. She said, oh, okay, I'm gonna go through a bunch of these bags and I'll give you a call back later. I told her very nicely, I said, we're from a couple hours away, so if you could call me back sooner rather than later, that'd be great. You know, we're waiting on your phone call in order to make the decision when to go back home. So she's like, oh, okay, I'll call you back in an hour. Well, she never ended up calling me back that day. Awesome. So we packed up everything, we checked out of the hotel, and we got into the car, and we were just kind of driving around. It was about 11:30, about an hour and a half later, and I'm like, why don't we go to Six Flags? Like, why don't we go there and try to find the phone ourselves? So we did that. Batman ride is located right next to the employee parking lot. So we drove into the employee parking lot. There weren't any signs that said no trespassing, regular people aren't allowed here. You didn't have to like jump any fence or anything or go through any gates. Basically, it was just like a road with an open parking lot. Anyone could have driven in there. So we drive in there, we park, and there is literally the Batman ride and a chain link fence. So we're walking along the chain link fence and I got on my phone again and I did the Find My iPhone, and I had a sound play, because when you lose your phone you can have a sound play to kind of locate it, and I could hear the beeping noise, and I'm like, I told my boyfriend, I'm like, it's around here, I hear the beeping noise, and he's like, I don't know, I don't hear it, but I'm like, I know I hear it, I'm not going crazy. So we're like looking around the ground, and all of a sudden I look up, and sure as shit, on the lift hill, the first lift hill, right on the maintenance stairs, his phone is sitting right there. And I'm like, oh my gosh, there it is. Oh. We get back in the car and we wanted to go to talk to someone at the front of the park. We weren't gonna pay another $25 to park because that's ridiculous. So we ended up parking at a business that was kind of down the street, and we had to walk a little bit. We go up to the front and we talked to someone at guest relations. We had to wait in line 15 minutes in order to talk to someone. So we get up there and we tell the woman our situation. We're like, look, we know exactly where the phone is. We need to tell someone exactly where the phone is. So she's like, okay, since you guys don't have passes for today, we'll give you an hour comp pass. You can go to the ride, you can tell the ride attendant, and we'll have somebody meet you there. I'm like, okay. So we go in, we had to walk all the way through the park. The Batman ride is literally on the back end of the park, so we had to walk all the way through it. Meanwhile, at guest relations, she's like, you might have to wait in line because the line's pretty long, and I'm like, I'm not waiting in line. We get there and luckily there wasn't a line, which it was quite a difference between Saturday and Sunday, the amount of people there. I get there and I tell the ride attendant, and she knows nothing about the situation. They're not gonna be able to stop the ride during the day because it's a safety hazard. The only way they can do it is get it at night. And I'm like, yeah, you guys were supposed to do that last night and you didn't do it. So she's like, well, I don't really know what else to tell you. She's like, it's just a phone. And I'm like, who the hell are you to say that, first of all, that it's just a phone? Like, you don't know our situation. What if we ran a business and that phone was our way of running the business? It really pissed me off, but still, I kept my cool. So then we were standing there and this kid came up to us. It was the same kid that my boyfriend had talked to the day before. I guess he's the Batman supervisor, ride supervisor, I don't know. And we told him the situation. We're like, look, we filed this report last night. We know exactly where the phone is, and we literally pointed to it. From where we were standing, when you get on the ride, you literally could walk right to it. It's not like it was in a difficult place to get. He's like, well, the ride attendants aren't allowed to go up there. I'm gonna call maintenance. They'll probably be able to stop the ride and just run up there quickly and get it for you. So we're like, oh, okay. So he called maintenance. He comes back to us like 10 minutes later and he's like, nope, they're not allowed to do that. They can only do that after the park closes. That's what they're gonna do tonight. I had looked at the weather and there were supposed to be thunderstorms, like really bad thunderstorms that night or that afternoon. So I'm like, I told him that. He's like, well, you know, if there's lightning in the area, they can't go up it. And I'm like, okay, that's understandable because it's a huge friggin' metal structure. That's understandable. And then he's like, but if there's no lightning and the maintenance workers won't go up there, he's like, I'll personally go up there and get it for you myself. And I'm like, I wanted to call him out and be like, but you just said you guys aren't allowed to go up there. I now realized that he lied to our face just so we would leave. I'm like, all right, so you guys are gonna go up there and get it tonight and then you will call us and mail it to us? And he's like, yep, that's what'll happen. So I'm like, okay. So we leave, we drove a couple of hours, go home. The next morning was a Monday. We did the Find My iPhone feature again and it was still there on the stairs. This was, what was the date? Hold on, I have notes because I have a really long ass email that I'm writing to Six Flags. Hold on, July 27th. So yeah, I activated the Find My iPhone at 8 a.m. and it was still sitting there, and there were thunderstorms last night. So I tried calling them at 10 o'clock. Nobody answered. It was very, very hard to get a hold of someone. I'm gonna show you guys my call logs and how many times I've called this place to try to get a hold of them. I don't mind showing the phone number because it's public knowledge. It's not like I'm giving out somebody's personal phone number. All right, so let me go back here. So Monday, here is 13 calls of me trying to get a hold of them. Is it blurry? Can you guys see? I was finally able to talk to someone at 10:50. I talked to this girl who is the supervisor of Lost and Found, and she said, okay, I told her about the situation. She said, okay, I'll give you a call back in an hour. I guess that's what they like to tell people, but it really means, no, we're never gonna call you back, because I waited all day for her phone call. She didn't call me back. I ended up getting a hold of her at 5:14. Again, I tried 13 times to call. There's another call log from Monday, July 27th. I finally got a hold of her. I talked to her and she said that she was sorry that she didn't call me back, but she was very busy all day. I wasn't a priority. People in front of her face were a priority. She's very, very rude to me. She says, you know what? We technically don't have to give you your phone back. You broke the rules. You got on the ride with the phone. We technically don't have to do that. This is not our job to retrieve your lost things. It's a courtesy service. She was so, so rude to me. And meanwhile, I've been keeping my cool this whole time. I haven't sworn or really raised my voice at anyone. but that really pissed me off. She said there's only certain people that are allowed to go up there, which understandable, it has to be, you know, a maintenance worker. She said she doesn't know when they're working. So I said, okay, well, can you connect me to someone who does know when they're working, because we want to know when we're going to get our phone back. And she said, nope, I can't do that. Nobody knows when they're working. So apparently these super qualified maintenance workers show up whenever they want to, and no one can get a hold of them. They just like fall from the sky or something. And then she's like, if you want to file a complaint, she's like, call guest relations. She said to call the Six Flags number and press 0. So I'm like, okay. I talked to someone in guest relations, and again, she was very, very rude to me. She basically told me the same thing that this other chick told me. She's like, you know, only certain people can get up there. They'll get at it when they'll get at it. And I'm like, no, that's not okay. We need to know when we're getting our phone back. And again, she's like, well, you guys broke a rule, blah, blah. And I'm like, I know we broke a rule and weren't supposed to bring the phone on the ride, but we did, and the phone's sitting there, so now what are you gonna do? That was Monday night. I was so pissed off when I got off the phone with them. I went online and I filed a police report with the Agawam Police Department. I didn't get a call back from anyone on Tuesday. I tried calling them. We were busy all day on Tuesday. I was finally able to call someone at 7:43 at night. I tried 16 times to get a hold of someone. Nope. Could not talk to anyone. This is on Tuesday, July 28th. On Wednesday morning, somebody called me from Six Flags, but I didn't get to my phone in time and they didn't leave me a message. So I tried calling back. Oh, this time it only took me 3 calls, and I finally was able to talk to someone at 7-Eleven. This was the 29th, which is Wednesday night. And basically she told me that because of where the phone is located, they would be risking their lives, and they're not gonna do that in order to get the phone back. So I hopefully am going to show you guys pictures of exactly where the phone is located. It's on the first hill going up the ride. There are maintenance stairs going up the ride. It's not like a ladder you have to climb or anything like that. They're stairs. There's a railing. And then the phone's about halfway up the stairs. Today is Friday, July 31st, and I actually got a call back from the Agawam Police Department this morning. They said that they have accepted my police report that I filed, and they're gonna be taking over from here. The woman that I talked to asked my side of the story, and I told her everything. I'm like, basically, they're not gonna let us get the phone back. Because one of the times I talked to someone, I said, okay, what's gonna happen if I go up there and get the phone myself? And she's like, oh, no one's gonna let you do that. And I'm like, actually, no one's gonna stop me from doing that. But what will happen? And I actually said that to 2 different people. And the first person said, oh, you'll get escorted out and it'll be banned from Six Flags for life. The second person I talked to said that you'll get escorted out and only be banned for a year. They don't call the cops or anything. They just have their security deal with it. It has now been 6 days since we dropped the phone. Looking back on this whole situation, we should have just walked up there ourselves and gotten it, because we're never going to be returning to the Six Flags. So banning us would have done us a favor. Anyway, today's Friday, July 31st. I talked to the Agawam Police Department this morning. The woman that I talked to was very, very nice. I mean, I came out and told her, I said, look, this might look like that it's a huge situation just for a phone. And she cut me off and she's like, oh, no. She's like, phones are very important to people. You probably have information on there that you need, you know, pictures on there. You need your phone back. And I'm like, yes, we do. Thank you. Basically, where it stands today is they are gonna kind of take over. They're gonna go there and get my phone back. So she did tell me that she's dealing with a few other issues regarding Six Flags, like a couple of theft issues. She said that someone else is kind of in the same exact situation as me, where they lost their phone, they know where it is, and Six Flags is refusing to give it back to them. That's kind of where we stand. I will definitely update you guys when we get the phone back. Tomorrow will be 1 week since we dropped the phone and we still don't have it back. This is just so crazy to me. We've even said we'll go up there ourselves and get it. Like, walk up the stairs. It's probably maybe 50 feet off the ground, maybe. There are maintenance stairs on this ride for a reason. People go up there. There's lights and stuff on the ride. Like, what if a light bulb burns out? How are they gonna get up there? They're gonna use the stairs. They're gonna walk up the stairs and get it, just like they can walk up the stairs and get our damn phone. But for whatever reason, they won't. They really don't care about their guests. They just care about making money. That is my current battle with Six Flags New England. I was gonna file a claim with the Better Business Bureau, but they're not even accredited by the Better Business Bureau, so that shows a lot right there. I guess I can still file a claim, which I'm probably gonna do. But if you go on Yelp and Google, if you just Google Six Flags New England, there are so many complaints about this place. it's pretty ridiculous. I just didn't like the way that they treated us. They were condescending, they were rude. They said, oh, it's just a phone, you don't need that. Like, who the hell are you to say that? It's funny because the girl that said that was pretty young herself, and I can guarantee her phone is in her back pocket at all times. So I will definitely keep you guys updated as to the outcome of the situation. We are getting our phone back. It's just a matter of when. Like I said, it is a couple of hours away from us. If it wasn't a couple hours away from us, we would have had the phone back by now because I would have walked up there myself and gotten the phone. This whole time we know that he broke a rule and brought the phone on the ride with him. We don't deny that he shouldn't have done that, but he did that. There's no going back to that. The phone's sitting on their property and they're refusing to give it back to us. So technically, that's that. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I just can't believe the crazy things that happened to us. If you guys want me to make more videos like this, telling you guys about crazy things that happened to us, let me know. I swear the craziest things happened. I was in labor with our daughter. We got pulled over for speeding on the way to the hospital. Like, what? Who? I know I'm gonna get some negative comments being like, Vanessa, I can't believe you're going off about this, blah, 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 blah. Why are you making a video about it? That's what social media is for. All right, I'm gonna go now. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will talk to you guys in my next video.